So in today's video we're going to look at the Felt AR Advanced, which is the new offering from Felt, which they released the other day. And I thought we'd get it up, have a quick look at it, and then compare it against the Specialized Venge, Giant Propel, Cervelo S3, Trek Madone, and the Cannondale SystemSix, and see if we can see any similarities or different ideas. Okay, so here's the old 2019 AR FRD from Felt. Pretty good looking bike, and they reckon on the website that it only weighs 6.6 kilograms. Not entirely sure how much I believe that, but fair enough. You don't see many of these Felts in the UK, or at least I haven't, and I have to convert the price from euros, and it comes in at about £11,000, or did in 2019. The only real problem I have with this bike is the headset area around here. All looks a bit weird, looks a bit like a teapot. It's now 2020, and here we go. Felt have released the AR Advanced. Currently there's only a couple of versions available, the Ultegra Di2 and the Ultegra Mechanical, I think. And it comes in this white or blue. I think I probably prefer the blue myself. This week just gone was the Tour of Saudi, and I thought it was quite a good marketing push from Felt that the rally team is riding the new bike, and they seem to be in the breakaway every day of the Saudi Tour. And I thought the bike looked very cool, so that was a pretty good advert for them. Sort of got the cables hidden away, can't really tell what's going on there, but they're sort of sticking out underneath. And what I did notice is if you compare that to the white version, the white one's got a slightly different stem. I don't know whether it was like a pre-production run or something like that, but it's definitely a different shape and different cable routing. I thought that was kind of interesting. So on the 2019 AR, Felt had a split seat post. Now I'm not sure if the old one had it, but the new one has a split seat post as well, and I believe there's a plastic or rubber insert down the seat tube that slides into, which should absorb some of the road noise there. I think that's quite a cool idea. I like that. I think it looks quite nice too. Not 100% about the shapes going on here. Probably rather see that smoother, but there we go. This is all obviously aero shaped, nicely cut out around the back wheel. Likewise, we've got the aero shapes going on at the front here too. Comes with the Reynolds 58mm deep wheels, which are rather lovely looking carbon deep section wheels. I was watching a Hambini video today, and he was talking about some aerodynamic formula or something that had a measurement in it called the Reynolds or the Reynolds, which then made me think, is this where Reynolds got the name of their company from? I'm sure one of you out there will know, so if you do, leave a comment down below. Obviously disc brake, and we've got the through axles there. It looks like Felt have just used nice bolt through axles without crazy quick release mechanisms on the outside, destroying all your aero gains. Okay, so let's have a look at this against some of the other bikes. First up is the Venge Pro from Specialized. Again, this is the Ultegra Di2 version. Let's flick between the two. Now there was a slight anomaly when I was lining up the Felt, in that on a very low quality JPEG they listed the stack as being 545mm. Now when I lined that up, that bent the bike very strangely out of shape, and it has come in at a much more around the 527mm mark, so I'm not sure where that's gone wrong, whether the photograph is at a funny angle or something. And the other slight annoying thing is that they photographed a size 54. All the other bikes are mediums and 56s. So it's quite hard to fully decide what's going on at the front end. I think the rear end is pretty much as you would expect. So the Venge has got slightly lower seat stays. Both bikes cutting out round the back wheel. Next bike I wanted to have a look at was the Madone, and this is the SLR7. Again, Ultegra Di2. Fading between the two, you can see bikes have quite different stances. The Trek looks like it was modelled on one of the bulls from the Red Bull logo. I like that, it's sort of aggressive. The AR is a bit more sort of straight up and down. Things to note here is that the Trek Madone doesn't cut out round the back wheel, so the seat tube is a lot further forwards. I think I prefer it when it does cut round. I wonder why Trek don't do that. When I first started the Bikotic channel, Trek took some of the worst photographs of all the manufacturers, and they were really low quality on their website. They've obviously heard me complain about them because they're now pretty much top of the pile. They're good quality, nicely photographed. One of the things I look for in a photograph is whether you can see the other side of the handlebars, because if you can, then it looks a bit messy, and it means that they didn't quite use the right lens on the camera. But in Trek's case, it looks perfect. To be fair to Felt, that's pretty good as well, and Specialized are pretty good at it as well. But as well as these side-on shots for the Treks, they also shoot some very nice shots of the bike against black. I think that looks very sexy. There's a front view and a top view, and that's the view you pretty much see when you're riding the bike, and I think that looks rather cool. I don't understand why all manufacturers don't just take a few pictures like that and put them on their websites so that we can actually see the bikes. It's weird. Okay, so that was the Trek Madone, which I'm a big fan of. Next up, it's the Propel from Giant, Ultegra Di2, and we'll go back and look at the prices in a minute. This is the Advanced Pro 1. Fading between the two, Giant Propel cutout around the back wheel again. Drop seat stays. Enormous stem covering up the cables. The ARD has a little sort of curve around the front wheel as well, which is nice. Straight up on the Giant. I was watching some racing the other day. The CCC team ride the Giant, and just about all of them ride the TCR, but I saw this photo of a very big tall guy riding the Propel, and I thought this looked rather good. Wished that Giant would go back to these more sort of simple graphics and not these psychedelic stickers that they put on. To me it just looks like someone threw up all over the bike, these horrible stickers on the wheels and this psychedelic stuff. And I let Specialized get away with that on the Venge, but they've done it as well on the Venge. Look, what it's like, is this a new thing that someone's invented, is these stickers? Who likes them? Do you like them? Put a comment down below if you like the psychedelic stickers. I just think they look revolting, which is a shame for the Propel. So I had a little play with it because I quite like the blue colour, and I didn't spend very long on it. This probably isn't right either, what with these funny little triangles and stuff, but I wanted to see whether it just would look better with the white logo and take the logos off the wheels. And yeah, I definitely prefer it simpler. So come on Giant, 2021, let's sort the Propel out, make it look good again. Thank you so much. Okay, so next up, I wanted to have a look at it against the Cervelo S3. And I know there's an S5, but I find the S5 a bit weird to look at and prefer the S3. So here we are. So let's have a look between the S3 and the AR. Again, it is a shame that they've photographed the smaller frame, and I don't think the measurement's right at the front, because it's so far different. But we can see some similarities at the back. The Cervelo is obviously leaning back more, which I think I prefer. Looking at the numbers, the Cervelo isn't particularly racy. Probably the S5 is more racy, but I wanted to have a look at it anyway. So that's the Cervelo S3, and then last up, the Cannondale SystemSix. Again, Ultegra Di2. Now on the Felt website, there's no indication of weight for the new AR, so no idea. Specialized, again, no mention of weight, so no idea. But the Madone is coming in at 8.1 kilograms. The Propel is coming in at 7.9 kilograms. The Cervelo, no idea, and the SystemSix is coming in a little bit lighter than the Propel, 7.8 kilograms. So hats off to Cannondale there. But is it just me, or does this SystemSix already look a bit dated? There's just something not quite right about funny sort of shapes at the front and this gigantic whopper bit here. And if we fade between the two, there's a few similarities. All the manufacturers seem to have quite different ideas what to do around this part of the bike here. This is Felt's take on the idea, and then Cannondale's. So there's a quick look between the Venge and the Cannondale. And there's some more similarities there, I think. Cannondale's almost like a fat Venge. So pricing wise, as far as I can tell, the AR Advanced is coming in at about £5,500. We've got the Venge coming in £1,000 more expensive. The Madone coming in another 500 on top of that. So that's 1,500 quid more than the Felt. felt. And then we've got the Propel, £500 cheaper. And not only that, it comes with a power meter as well. It comes with the giant power meter. I wonder if you could peel those stickers off, because that's pretty good value. The Cervelo, slightly more expensive than the felt, but similar sort of pricing. And then the Cannondale SystemSix is bang on, same price. So there we go. You've got to pay a heck of a lot more to get the Trek Madone, but then it's a pretty cool bike. So if money was no issue, it would for me be between the Madone or the Venge, and if I could find out how heavy the Venge was, that would be good. But let's assume, because they don't write it in, that it's pretty heavy. So I'm going to go for the Madone. In the real world, as it quite often does, the giant offering comes in with the best value, so it's probably a pretty good buy, what with the power meter. So there we have it. That's the Felt AR Advanced. Quick little comparison there with some of its competitors. If you own any of these bikes, leave some comments down below. Let us know what you think. But while I was messing around with these, I thought it would be cool to do a mashup of all my favourite parts from these bikes, and what I came up with was this. And I've called it the what have I called it? The FEREKONDVELO, because we have got the Trek Madone at the front. We've then got the Cervelo top tube, down tube and back of the forks. Front of the forks are the Treks. We've then got seat stays from the SystemSix. We've got the chain stays from the Trek, and we've got the split seat post from the AR, from Felt. We've got the Knot 64 wheels on, and I've put some specialised turbo cottons on because I like the gum walls on those. And there we go, the FEREKONDVELO, and I've called it the MASHUP RX. And if you'd like one of these, it's going to be about £1 million, I think, because we'd have to build it from scratch. But there we go. Quite funny, I'm so used to looking at this now. When I switch back to the actual Cervelo, it looks really bizarre. I think I definitely prefer my one. I think I probably prefer the back of my one to the Madone as well. I've never been 100% about the old ISO speed decoupler or whatever they call it. So there we go. I think that looks pretty cool. Let us know what you think. Put a comment down below. And if you like this video, give it a good old thumbs up. And if you want some more of this waffling about bikes, then please subscribe to my channel.